Johnson. We have Verna Smith Johnson and Ariel Smith Dudley here today, and Verna is going to read what Ariel has written about her history in Fairhope. Go ahead, Verna.
Thank you. Recalling events of my life as far back as I can remember is no small task, for I will be pushing aside a cloud developed over more than 80. This opportunity has been fun-filled, for my search through the past has stimulated me to remember the names of our family horse Margaret and our ever-lowing cow Bossy. The Smith family of Fairhope goes back at least 135 years. My father, Lee Dora, was born in 1881, the fifth child of Mollie and Oliver Smith from Mississippi. They settled on the site near Maggie's restaurant, commonly known as the Blue Light. The children of Mollie and Oliver moved inland on Volanta Avenue and occupied 88 acres. That area, less approximately 20 acres or so, are now the property of the city of Fairhope and called the Fairhope Municipal Park. I am the firstborn child of Lee Dora and Mary Elizabeth Johnson Smith. Mary Elizabeth was born in Mobile in 1893. She completed Emerson Institute in 1911 and was awarded her teaching certificate. She taught school, met and married Lee Dora in 1912. I was born in 1913 and my brother Lee Jr. in 1915. We were born in Mobile, attended by a medical doctor. My grandmother was also available for the first few months to assist a nervous mother. The other children were born in Fairhope at home, attended by two midwives, Miss Clara Bonner and Mrs. Martha Mitchell. There was a total of 8 children. 6 boys, Lee Jr., Andrew, Herschel, Adam, Kermit, and Calvin, and 2 girls, yours truly and Octavia. We were a happy, strong, and proud family. Lee Dora had 2 means of family support as I can recall. He was extremely resourceful. He was the operator of a small turpentine business. The raw materials for turpentine came from the resin of the pine trees in the Fairhope area. I can almost see him now as he pierced the trees and gathered the sap in buckets. He made a weekly delivery to the turpentine steel located on Morphy Avenue. With electricity becoming a common source of light, Pablo became a commercial fisherman. He fished the waters of the Mobile Bay until his health failed and he passed away in 1969.
Let me ask you a question, and I'm ignorant. The turpentine, he was the one who gathered the turpentine.
Mm-hmm.
And he, with electricity, they didn't need as much turpentine. Is that the idea? Okay. Because the turpentine was used in the lamps, or?
Oh no, the kerosene was used in the lamp. He would take, well, he had men working for him. Now, he didn't own the land. He rented land. Right now, in front of our house. It was trees there. I recall him, the men going out there. They had what they call a hat. And they would get this rosin in a bucket, and then they would put it in the barrels, and they would haul it over to a turpentine. It was a still.
Mm-hmm.
And then they would process that rosin, and one part, the turpentine would run in one part, and then the other would run in another part. And they would take this to Taylor steam in Mobile. I don't know whether you ever heard of Taylor steam, but that was like a commissary. And that is why I recall them having probably 50 gallons of oil sausages. And my mother used to, we would cook, and I electrically cook the sausage, and she would take the oil and fry donuts in the oil. So that's where we would get that staple goods from. But,
Okay.
yeah,
I'm still lost. I'm still lost.
About what now?
The advent of electricity, you say, caused him to be a commercial fisherman. Did he give up the turpentine?
Yes,
Okay, because,
well, now what did I say about that? Wait a minute, I want to get this straight now.
okay,
After they, the causeway opened, that, and then, and maybe I don't know, but about that part, about electricity.
Well, she said something about the demand for the product became less and less.
Oh,
And maybe
Okay,
I was
okay.
confused and relating it to the turpentine.
okay, well, okay,
Electricity.
so, okay, I was just curious about that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying,
Okay.
because they use turpentine for heating, right?
yeah.
And not for.
No,
Oh.
yeah, and that turpentine was sold to paint companies, because they use that, the turpentine, the paint thinner or whatever. And you could buy turpentine, and of course it was used for medical purposes too.
That's right, people used to
Medical
drink it.
purposes. And, well, it was a great demand for that. And then perhaps transportation played a part in it. And then,
Right, and also the ability
storm.
to get
Yeah.
oil to here.
right. And then I recall, that's another part, that it was a storm. And I recall all of those trees out there where they used to get that turpentine or the rosin from, and that caused him to kind of go out of that business
I
too.
see.
That
I
caused
see.
him to go out of that business
Yeah.
too.
Okay.
Maybe what had happened is that she was relating it to the period of time that when he went out of the business, it was around the time of the electric lights. I just had related the two wrong.
Okay, that's.
I remember the 1926 storm,
Mhm.
that's what you're talking about.
Mhm.
How all those trees that had been turpentine would just break off.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
And some of the others some of them would go over with their roots up, but most of them would break
Break
off
off.
where they'd been turpentine, and so they
So
were
that
gone.
really, at that point, did away with most of that turpentine business that he was in.
Mhm.
And I remember that in that year before that storm, 1926, my dad bought a brand new 26 Ford, and we just thought we were rich when he bought that Ford. But after the storm, things tapered off, and we weren't, we didn't have as much. We had to rely on, I think, what they said, our gardens.
I was gonna say the garden.
Gardens, yeah, and our cow, horses.
We're all wishing we had gardens now.
Yes.
So with that onset, and we have cleared that up.
Well, now,
Yeah.
was that going on? Was you still running that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we
We're
were
still
just
running.
clearing up a part of the story, but
Oh.
I can just
That's
go on
fine.
and continue.
Yeah, just
from
go
where I
ahead and
was.
continue.
And then he became a commercial fisherman
Mm-hmm.
after
Okay.
that.
Okay.
And he fished the waters of the Mobile Bay until his health failed and he passed away in 1969.
Right.
Our home was not only a source of shelter, but we raised, caught, and grew about 80% of the food that we consumed. With one cow for our dairy source, we had pigs, chickens, turkeys, and a huge garden filled with all of the produce grown in this area. The only food I remember Papa bringing home from the stores in Mobile was cornmeal, grits, flour, salt, pepper, sugar, and cooking oil. The garden brings back the memories of the Easter season and the way Mama would hide our Easter baskets in the tall English pea patch. These baskets would be filled to the brim with eggs and a small stuffed rabbit. My mother used her teaching skills again as I grew old enough to attend school. She felt that I was too small to walk the 6 miles round trip to the Annie T. Jean School. Mary gathered me up along with several neighborhood children and taught us at home until we reached the 3rd grade. My formal education did not begin until I was 8 years old, and my brother, aged 6 years, could walk to school with me. It was a real treat for us to take the family horse and buggy to school. The horse would be separated from the buggy and allowed to graze and water until the end of the school day.
Now, let me interrupt again and ask a question.
Mhm.
Was this when you were older? and
Yes,
going to school?
I thought about that when I was saying that it wasn't that we didn't go with the horse and buggy immediately after I started down there. It was later on.
And who got to drive the horse and buggy?
No. My brother.
Your brother did.
Yeah, my
Okay.
brother had to do the driving of the horse. And I remember one time Mollie ran away with us because our daddy told us not to let anybody else get on there because there wasn't enough room. And some of our next door neighbors, Paul and Jesse, and another cousin, got on there, and a buggy didn't have a 2 seats, it just had one.
Oh.
And they all crowded on there, and the horse ran away with us. Fortunately, no one was injured.
He didn't like that heavy load.
No.
Then we went home proudly waving and smiling at our friends as they walked home. Upon completing the 8th grade and time to enter high school, my family made the difficult decision to send me to Mobile to live with my grandmother. There was no transportation provided to the local high school in Daphne. Our family focus on education meant that I must go to high school even at tremendous sacrifice. We were all delighted that by the time I finished Dunbar High School in 1932, bus service from Fairhope to the Baldwin County Training School became available. My brothers and sister, therefore, were able to attend high school and stay at home. We had exciting family activities during my childhood. One of the things I remember was Sunday school picnics on Flag Creek. That area has really changed through the years. The creek was clear and cool and fresh. My brothers would swim there, and there was a bridge that crossed the creek from the mouth of Volanta Avenue to Seacliff. I remember the trips my mother took across the bridge to get the mail from the Seacliff post office. Just beyond the bridge were the homes of Aunt Sally Hill, not related but a good friend, and Papa's brother, Uncle Major, and his family. I would...
Excuse me. Tell me about the Seacliff post office.
Well, it was right at the end of what is, they called it Seacliff. And it was at...
That's right where we are today, on Seacliff.
Yeah, right, we're on Seacliff. And it was kind of shaky, high bridge. And I can remember Mama taking me across there, but not too often. And if she took one of us, we had to remain on the banks of the Fly Creek while she went across to pick up the mail.
Uh-huh.
Now at that time, later on, the mail came out on what is now, what is it? Oh, at the end of Volanta Avenue.
Green Oak.
Oh. That's where our mailboxes was, and later. Now, when I wanted to say this about when we started home from school in the buggy, and where we were waiting at, we were the only ones that lived up in that area. Most of the children that was going to Anna T. Jean lived in that area.
Yeah.
And we were the only ones, the Pearsons and Uncle Monroe's children, his house or home was where Municipal Park is now. And because Fairhope, the city of Fairhope purchased that land from my uncle's children.
And that was when my father-in-law was mayor.
Right.
Oh, it was?
How about that?
Well,
Yes.
okay.
It sure was.
See, I remember, all
Joe
that.
Schneider was his name.
Oh, yes. So, when we waved at the children, we were leaving the children because we were leaving, coming from down Anna T. Jean all the way up to Volanta Avenue.
Uh-huh. You
That's
had
why we
a
were
much
leaving.
longer walk, or longer trip than they had,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
Okay. And the boats brought the mail into the Seacliff post office?
Yes.
From Mobile,
Boats,
okay.
And I'm sure that they probably stopped in Daphne, and I'm sure they stopped in Montrose because they have this little old post office up there now.
Yeah, that's right.
been there for years,
Yeah.
and so they would meet them. The postmaster would meet them and get the mail from the board, take it back to the post office.
Mhm.
So that's a tremendous change.
Yes.
from what it is now.
Okay, we're going to start with just beyond the bridge were the homes of Aunt Sally Hill, not related but a good friend, and Papa's brother, Uncle Major, and his family. I would climb up to the top of the bluff and look out over the Mobile Bay. The children would run, play, and slide down the slope to the beach until the beautiful sunset of evening. Visits to downtown Mobile via the steamboat named the Bay Queen from the Fairhope Pier was done on a monthly basis by my mother, Mary Elizabeth. She showed no favoritism with her children, and with each visit she took one child in order according to age. With 8 children, it took me 8 months to have what we considered an honor. Mary Elizabeth passed in 1987 at the age of 93. As years passed and the children became young adults, my family began to scatter. Unfortunately, Fairhope had very few career or job opportunities. Young people wanting to seek employment to support themselves and assist their families were forced to look in the larger industrial area. My oldest brothers and only sister set out separately to live in Chicago. Family love, unity, and values were displayed as the brothers that left first encouraged and assisted those who came later. This process continued into the next generation, and even today we take pride in the fact that we help each other. 4 of my brothers served in the military. I married and moved to the Mobile area, where I taught school for 32 years. My brother Kermit continued to live in Fairhope on Volanta Avenue. The children of Lee Dora and Mary Elizabeth built a comfortable vacation home on the site of the original family house. In fact, Volanta Avenue is still a beehive of family. It includes my brother and his wife, nieces, nephews, and many family members visiting throughout the year.
Very good. That's wonderful. Now tell me, you are married to the Reverend.
I'm a widow,
Oh, I see.
Uh-huh,
Okay.
I'm a
And but
widow.
your husband's name was,
Benjamin L. Franklin Dudley,
and he was the pastor of
pastor of the Friendship Baptist Church
in Mobile.
in Mobile for
Oh.
27 years.
Okay.
Oh, he pastored in Foley and Bangladesh too.
Uh huh.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
And
thank
now,
you.
look, you through.
Well, you go ahead. If you have something to say, go ahead.
It was I just wanted to say that the house would be a beehive this coming weekend because my sister-in-law, and some of my nieces from Chicago and my nephew will be down. Usually they will come during the week of October 7th because that was my mother's birthday.
Oh,
And
that's
they
wonderful.
still come. They wanted to come during that time.
We've been doing that ever since Grandma Mary was 88 years old.
Yeah.
When she made her 88th birthday, we come every year for her birthday until she passed.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last time she had a birthday, her 93rd birthday, we had T-shirts made up with "I Love Mary," had a great big red horn on it.
Oh.
It said "I Love Mary," and it was about 50 of us with these T-shirts the back. I still have it.
Yeah,
And everybody would wonder,
What?
who in the world is Mary? And it was really very effective to do that. And she was so very proud. That was her final birthday, and she didn't want to leave the house that year.
I think the first one that we had was down at the old Colonial Inn.
Oh.
We had one down there, and everybody just thought that was just my cousin, Ruth Williams, Ruth Smith Williams. And she was living at the time. And they were just really excited about, because they had saw all that furniture, and that was, I think they torn it down.
Yes, they have. It broke our hearts.
Yes, yeah, we had it down there for her one year.
So it's Grandma Mary weekend, and we're real proud that so many people still come for that
Oh, that's good.
weekend after all these years. And
Wonderful.
we're really looking forward to it, them coming.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
I ate a lot of stuff when I came down here.
Tell us about the guineas now and getting the eggs out of the nest.
Oh, well, we failed to name the guineas that my mother had, and they would make the nest along the fence rows, and when she got ready to get them out, it was understood that if you put your hand in the nest, that they would leave the nest. So she would proceed with long handled spoons to lift the eggs out of the nest so that the guineas would be able to go back. Because sometimes she would let enough eggs be in the nest for them to start setting. And they set on eggs, and I think we recall our hen chickens will nest 3 weeks, but turkeys and guineas would have to set for 4 weeks before the eggs hatch.
Now, guineas are like regular chickens, aren't they? Kind of in the.
Well, yes, they were. Some of them are really smaller than some chickens.
Yeah.
But I think all guineas, like we have chickens, Rhode Islands, Lagans, or whatever, I think all guineas are the same, because every guinea that I've ever seen is that little black and white checkered line. I think all guineas are like that, I believe, because I've seen some decoration on hats. And then I go in the store and I see it, and I said, oh my goodness, this is just like guineas that Mama used to have.
Well, they use them for their feathers, so you didn't really eat a guinea like you would fatten up a regular chicken. They were really kept because they were a novelty. Also, to have guineas, you had a novelty, so they would be very rare that she slaughtered one of those for us to eat.
I see.
And she put the chicken that we were going to eat, and when we were little, we came down and we knew that was to be the one that we were going to eat, and she put him or her in a separate cage so that it wouldn't run the fat off, and to fatten him up for 2 or 3 weeks, and we would say, oh, you poor little thing.
Oh, they said you clean them out. That's
Whatever
what they call
they were.
cleaning them out.
Cleaning them
because
out.
the fatness, they were eating out everything.
Oh, you would clean him out so he wouldn't
Right.
eat any of them. I didn't know what the reason was.
Yeah,
So we
I'm
knew
telling you.
that one was doomed. And I think my cousin let it out one time, and it had been, how long would they leave it there, a week or so?
Oh,
to clean
maybe.
it out, a couple of weeks.
I don't recall.
But we let that one out. that was
Oh, you let the
our
chickens
dinner.
out? Oh.
Cheryl did. One of us did. But we came here from the city with just all kinds of ideas about city life as opposed to country life, and it was just our thrill to come here from where we had flushing toilets, and to come and go back to school and tell the children that we had our toilet outside, that we had our house, and there was no running water in the house and things like that. It was just too exciting to be true. But we were living, like a double life. We'd come here in the summer and do that for about 3 weeks, and then go back to the big city. And one of the things that Grandma Mary told us about the guineas, because I asked about dogs, we had all the animals, and she said, I don't need a dog because the guineas do the job of a dog. They're like a watchdog of the farm, and if any animal comes around that would disturb the chickens, like maybe a
heard that we didn't have any geese, but I've heard people say that the geese will make an alarm too. It's something like that come out of the woods, or either if a stranger appears. I think everybody needs a lot of geese now around. So much happening.
That's the truth, but they sure are noisy and messy.
Yeah, they are. They are.
The guineas had a really penetrating cry.
Sound.
Yeah,
Sound, yes.
It was really.
And that's just right.
It was scary.
It was scary.
You didn't know what it was.
So naturally, from coming here as a young woman, I think my most vivid memory here was when I was about 10. To see the difference in Fairhope from that time and now, as I've grown up to see it, has been a thrill for me. My memories then of Volanta only having a dirt road and going down on Reno to get the mail, and running in and out of the rain. I had never done that in my life, where you would walk and it was raining, and then you'd run down the hill, and at the end of the hill it wasn't raining, so we'd run in and out of the rain.
That does happen here. Sure
It
does.
happens here, and it has to stop somewhere, but I've never seen, been where I could just walk over there and it's not raining, and walk over here and it's raining. So we came each year, and as the years passed, we saw the changes in the city. One year we came and they had put gravel on one end of Volanta Avenue and stopped right at Grandma Mary's property. And then the next year they blacktopped it and they stopped right at her property. And I think a couple years after that, we had a real mourning in our family, because she told us that they were coming in the city limits and that she had to get rid of all of her animals.
Oh, dear.
And we were like, all of them? And we couldn't believe that they would do something. Of course, the grandfather clause and all that was something that she could have pulled out, but she didn't realize, that she could have fought that. But we did have that period where we went through that real down period of knowing that we wouldn't be able to go down and slaughter the hogs and chase the turkeys and all of that. And it was devastating to us coming down from the city. And then, I guess, right after that, we had the toilet in the house. And it wasn't enclosed. It wasn't like a bathroom. It was just a toilet there. And it wasn't, when they finally enclosed it and made a room around it, that was such a thrill to have a little enclosure, because they said, don't come in, someone is on the toilet. So it was just really, those things to me were exciting, they were fun, and to see the growth is amazing to me, especially in our little town of Fairhope. So when I grew up, and really this fascination with Fairhope isn't prevalent in everybody in our family. We all love it, but to be excited enough about a city to want to live there is another thing, because my cousins often say, now I love Fairhope, but you really have gone totally overboard, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think it's been well worth it.
Well, you know what they say, home is where the heart is.
Home is where the heart is, and where my roots are, especially. It's been my pleasure to be here.
Let me ask you something about those roots. You said your ancestry goes back 130 years in this county, or in this area, and that takes us back to the Civil War. Do you have any ancestors back to that era? Or?
Well, now, the only thing, how old would Papa be?
He would be 118.
Then 118, and then he had brothers older than my father.
Did you have any stories that came down from that period of time?
Well,
did they come here? Maybe did they come here because of the aftermath of the Civil War, or?
Well, now I really don't know. The only thing that
okay.
they said that they really. One of my cousins went to the library. Did you ever get that material?
No, I didn't get that material.
And he said it's he got this material from the library in Mobile, one of my cousins, and he said that they, the grandfather and the grandmother came from Mississippi. Now, whether they were natives of Mississippi, I don't know. I really don't.
Okay.
But now, that would be approximately, because my daddy would be 100, if had he lived, he would have been 118. And that means that the others would have been, that's a 17, because 17, 18, plus 17 would be 135.
Because he was the fifth child, and they were all born here. So
They
we
are.
would add 5 years to his age and say, you know, that we're given approximately
Yeah.
So,
that length of time for that
So
month.
that
old.
I just wondered, I thought that would be interesting if you knew.
Yeah, but I really
Well,
don't.
we're really going to work on trying to find out more, and we'll have to add to that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
As we do, because we really are curious ourselves about how far back we can reach into our ancestry. We just know that they were here, and there was very few people here at that time. All woods, and my grandfather would say there was just nobody here. And then the people that Nanny remembers, the few families that she remembers.
My mother's father and mother came from Kentucky. Now, why they migrated down here, I really don't know. And now, when we say in that part where my mother finished Emerson Institute in 1911, and she went right on to Bangladesh and took an examination. And that's how you would get you're familiar with that. You would have to take an examination to get a teaching certificate. So she she graduated from Emerson Institute in 1911, and that's following fall, they sent her to Fish River. And down, what is it, like Marlow or Fish River, down in that area. And she used to talk about all the time how some of the children that she taught was almost as old as she was, because, you know, on account of the schooling down there. And that's why she met my daddy. And he was in turpentine business down there. And so when she married in 1912, and they just went right on the story, and I was born in 1913. My brother was born in 1915, and one in 1917, and one in 1918. Just went rolling along.
With Ada.
Yeah, with Ada.
Okay.
I noticed that big families seem to have the most fun.
Oh, yeah.
That's the truth. Okay, thank you again.
Oh, and you're so welcome, and thank you for having us, and hopefully we'll be able to find that tape when my great-grandchildren are
There you go.
hunting
That's what we
through the
want.
archive. And we have nothing in the library here about our family, but now, and I told Nanny, and hopefully she would understand that one of these days somebody's going to pull this out and say, that's my great-grandmother.
That's
my
right.
great-aunt. Hopefully that will happen.
Okay.
Thank you